Hello, nerds. How's everybody doing today? It's our weekly Ask Tim stream on Mondays. It's actually working out a little bit better having us do this stuff at 4 today versus 2 o'clock on Mondays. It's been a little crazy. I'm gonna need this today. It's been a long day already, so need a little pick me up. I have some coffee left, so I'm gonna finish that off. But yeah. So anyways, mix it up. How's everybody doing today? As you can see, I have left the JG Maker here in its position. I'm gonna leave this printer on this desk here so I can actually get the firmware done once we're done working on the 208. If you guys do want to join in on testing the new 208 Marlin based Unified 2 build, which I got a lot of the code merged in already, and we're moving into actually testing it soon. There is a beta testing channel on the Discord server, but it's hidden. So if you send me a private message on there, if you are someone who is familiar with software and is actually competent at working through bugs and familiar with Marlin, shoot me a private message on there and on Discord. So my username on there is House of Bugs #1337, and I can add you to the beta testing role. That's where we're going to be posting any testing in there. We used to do in the Facebook groups, but no one really bit. So we are posting that code on our GitHub, so it is publicly accessible, but I have not test compiled any of it. I was just getting all the code merged in, and then I'm going to move to testing the build. So anyways, so yeah, we are working on updating Unified 2 to 208. There's a lot of new changes from 207.2, which is what we were using at 208, just because it's been such a big gap. It's been like 6 months or more at this point. So anyways, let's see what's going on here. I don't have, aside from the firmware updates, I don't really have any other tangents to go on today. At least I don't think. No, I don't have anything. I don't have anything up my sleeve today. Yeah, let's see. Let's go ahead and mute the. Let's go ahead and mute my speaker so it doesn't blast you guys. So, all right, let's jump into chat and let's see who we've got here. Right as we started, Dale Scott joined the cult of TH3D. If you are a Cult of TH3D member, you automatically have access to the beta testing channel as well. There's a couple of channels in the VIP section. There's the beta testing, Real Talk, and there's one just for Cult of TH3D members. And that's where I spend a lot of my time. Yeah, so hopefully I'll see you guys there. Occasionally you'll find me. There's a Hangout channel in the VIP section as well. And if I'm, just putzing around my office here, I'll pop my camera on and my, mic and everything, and if you see me in there, stop by and say hi. So, oh, I did not set up a new form. I knew I was forgetting something. Well, let me see. Let me see if I can make a new form here. Here's what we'll do. I'll post the, I'll make a new form and we'll post it in the live streams channel of the Discord server after this stream is over, and I'll leave that open for, I'll leave it open for like 30 minutes after the stream ends. How's that work? Yeah, sorry about that. I completely forgot to make a new form. We did get the JG Maker Magic printer sent out to the winner of last month. So, yeah. Let's see what questions and people we got here. I see the usual suspects: Superconductor, TJ Dorman, M. Poffenbarger, Jonathan Bayer's in here, Nemo, R. Mills. Let's see, anybody else? Jonathan Barnes, Paul the Texan, Blister71. Matt Mudoob. I'm just going to say it a different time every time because I can't remember how to say it. Pretty sure it's not his real name. We got Dean Hintz, George Moody using the sock puppet emojis. Oh, that one cracks me up. I love the sock puppet emojis. Let's see here. So you guys need to ask questions. I'm not seeing a ton of questions here. The purpose of these streams are to ask questions, and I will do my best to try to answer them to the best of my abilities. So, let's get into it. Let's see what questions we have here. So, Dale Scott's actually the first one. He's asking about equipment here. He said, what's the make and model number of the scope you use to change out the bad/damaged processors? So this scope here, you see, my workbench is a little messy. I got to clean it up because I got to do boards tonight. So how this works is, hang on. I have a camera right here, so let's go ahead and just turn that on because I can't get it into view. So, all right, let's switch over because I will show this. So the only thing is I don't have a model number here. You can see, look how messy that is. Yeah, it's quite messy. So here's how this works, and I've had a couple of other people ask. So you've got a camera here. This is the actual camera module. What is this doing? Did you guys see that? Is it like... Did you see the little boxes pop up on the camera? What the hell was that? Was that just on my screen, or was I seeing shit? That was weird. Okay. Anyways, so how this works is you've got the lens itself. This is what they refer to, I believe, as far as I know, this is called a C-mount lens. So you've got like this stand it's on, and this moves up and down. You can also adjust this here. And then you have the actual camera sensor. Now, this is not the sensor that came with this kit. The one that came with this kit was decent, but over the USB, there was like a 2-second delay, and it was rough. And it did have an HDMI output, but it only output 720. So this one does 1080/30, and this has a Sony CMOS sensor here. I've got a little ring light here to illuminate the work surface. And I also have a reduction lens on here to increase the working distance. Because when I got this, the scope would have to be like down here instead of all the way up here. Now, I did lose some magnification, but I was more concerned about having a work area. So I do have a... See, that just mounts with little prongs here. I do have a reduction lens on here. You can see here. This is a 0.5x reduction lens that screws onto here. And... I think this is a 0 to 300, I want to say. Let me see here. There we go. And this just has these little 3 prongs there. So if I switch over to this, it should be on all the time. Yeah, so you can see here, there's the scope. So you can piece one of these together. You can get a stand. So you can see I've got a stand here. I actually put a silicone mat on here. Just cut a hole for the post to go through. It's got the pull. This is like a stopper. I don't really use this, but it comes with one. So I basically bought the stand separately, or actually, I take that back. I bought the stand with the lens and the original camera module that came with it, which I do still have as a backup. But you can see this is an ELP C-mount camera module. So this particular one I got from Amazon, and it's no longer sold on there, but if you look on Amazon or AliExpress, you can find something that's a similar setup. I've been really happy with this. I've had this for about 3 years now, so I've definitely got my money's worth on it, or money's worth from it. So it's unbranded. It's just a generic brand. Aside from the camera module, ELP does make pretty good modules. They're a Chinese company, but they make pretty reliable little camera modules. You want to get something that's got a Sony sensor in it. Sony sensors are some of the best imaging sensors for these kind of applications, and in my opinion, they're really good for low light too. I like them. So let's see here. Superconductor is on the next question. He said, I got the tough heat breaks. That's the titanium one metal. I can't get the original off the heater block. Oh, I can't get the original off the heater block. Is there a volcano style heater block I can use instead? I can't type either today. So you could technically put a volcano heater block on the bottom of a Creality Hotend. The threads will match up. It's an M6 thread, but I wouldn't recommend it because then your cooling duct is going to be too high. It's going to be blowing right on the block. To get the heat break out of the stock heat break out of the heater block, you're going to need to have that heater block at around 230 to 240 degrees Celsius to loosen it up, because what happens is as you're printing, you got the expansion of the 2 different materials. The stock heat break is steel and the block is aluminum, so that can cause it to seize up. And you can also just have filament in there. So if there's filament in the threads and it's not done at a high temperature, you're never going to get it out. It's just, you know, you're going to break things before it'll actually come out. So I would go ahead and heat that up to 240C, cut the power to your printer, and then work quickly. Get some pliers on the block, get some pliers on the heat break, and just quick. Don't go like this and slowly apply pressure. I found it works best to go quick to break it loose. And then once it's loose, start unscrewing that while the heater block has still got heat in it. I say to turn your printer power off, like physically turn the power off, because even if you don't have the hot end heated, you still have the positive 12 to 24 volt line. On Ender 3, it's 24 volt. That's active. So if you accidentally hit your thermistor and the heater line, you're going to short your board out and kill it, because you're going to send that 24 volts into the thermistor lines. So, and it's not good. But you should be able to get it out. I've never had a heat break that I couldn't get out. One other alternative is you could take the heater cartridge and the thermistor out of the block, take a, like a creme brulee torch, or, I've got MAP gas torches on here. Those run really hot, so you don't want to use too much heat from them, because it will just, I think it gets hot enough to melt the aluminum. They get really hot, but you can also heat it up via other methods if you take the heater cartridge and the thermistor out, because then you're just left with metal parts. And you can do that as well. I've done that in a pinch where I'm working with it off the printer. I don't have the heater cartridge in. Just take a torch or something and heat it up off the printer. So just make sure to take the thermistor and the heater cartridge out so you don't break those. Sleepyhead FPV said, just got the EasyABL Pro system and the 12864 screen for Ender 3 V2. Hopefully it isn't too bad to install. It'll be pretty easy. I would recommend swapping the screen out first, update the firmware. The screen swap is really easy with the Ender 3 V2. You literally just then flash it like an Ender 3. So instead of telling the firmware that you have an Ender 3 V2, you just tell it you have an Ender 3, and it's that simple. You'll still use the Ender 3 probe mount, and that option is in the firmware as well. And just follow through the EasyABL install guide. We have a very detailed installation guide on our site, and you can get to that by going to easyablguide.th3dstudio.com or visit our help center. So since we're talking about the help center, I want to just remind you guys, before you guys send a ticket in or ask questions, go to our help center. That help center is our support.th3dstudio.com. that has hundreds of articles, and I'm not even exaggerating, hundreds of articles for printer troubleshooting, wiring information, product information, fun guides, DIY guides, STL files, drivers. It's more than just a product repository. It's meant to be a wealth of knowledge for everybody. We call it the help center. And you can literally just go to the top, start typing in keywords, and it'll auto suggest relevant articles to that. So, but if you can't find the answer to any question you have, especially with the EasyABL Pro, we do actually support our products. So one of the big benefits of the EasyABL Pro is, let's say you get stuck and you're like, I'm reading the guide, but I'm not sure. Am I doing this right? I don't want to break it. I don't want to fry anything. You can contact our support and we'll be more than happy to verify anything that you have with your printer. Our guys are awesome. We actually were just talking about this last night on the one of the channels in our VIP section, because they were talking about tickets and they were just curious, and we handled in the last 30 days 487 support tickets. So shout out to our support guys, and shout out to Tor's our guy that mans the live chat. He also helps out with tickets as well, but just in the last 30 days he's fielded 587 live chat requests. So we also have live chat on our site as well, that's available during business hours. If there's an agent online, you'll see the live chat bubble, but you can always send us a ticket in. Is this a spam caller? Hello?
Thank you for choosing MasterCard, Visa, and Discover.
Oh, it's a spam caller. Should I mess with them? Do you guys want me to mess with them? I'm gonna mute it. Let's see in chat. We're on low latency. Should I mess with the spam caller? It's a credit card one.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you so much for asking. So which credit card do you have that you're trying to pay?
What's that?
I said, which credit card are you trying to pay?
What's a credit card?
It's the one you use to fuck yourself.
How about you go fuck
That one.
yourself? And oh, he got real salty real quick. Oh, I didn't have a chance to mess with him. Anyways, that was a quick one. I always mess with them. It's funny. Should I call back? I want to speak to your manager. Anyways, let's get back on track here. I'm gonna blame this on my ADHD. Okay. So let's go through the chat. Hopefully you guys have questions here. Any updates on the Tasmota RGBW lights? Also want to get the Easy Flex for Ender 6. Is the smaller size working for you, or should I wait until I get the 290 by 290 size? We will be ordering the 290 by 290 size. I am literally running a print job on mine right now. The 260 by 260 has been working perfect. No issues. I just made sure to center it on the bed before I actually installed it, so it covers my print area, because you got to remember that printer is a 250 by 250. I already have a design file, but you know, because of all the delays with all the human malware and stuff, you know, we're looking at least a month and a half out. But here, I'll show you. I'm printing with some PETG, still dialing in my profile. So you'll see some stringing, but this is the 260 by 260 plate. It fits just fine on here. So, and it covers my whole print area. So I just lined it up in the corner, home to XY, marked the corner. You can see some of the, maybe you can, maybe you can't. You can see some of the marker here where I just marked the corner, stuck the magnet down, and then when I put the plate on, I just line it up with the magnet because I know the magnet covers the print area. So I'm actually printing with this Greengate 3D stuff. I like their colors. I don't know if the stringing is from the profile or from the Ender 6. I actually am going to put the Atomic PETG I have, because that's kind of my baseline. I'm very familiar with Atomic's PETG. I'm going to use the same profile, see if I still get the stringing, because if I do, then I know it's the filament. It's just more prone to stringing versus the Atomic. But I'm just printing, this is just a test print to dial in the profile, and that's actually a slight revision to the Ender 6 LCD housing. I'm just printing it on there because I'm killing two birds with one stone. Test a new revision, and also help dial in the PETG profile. So anyways, let's see here. Oh, so I will be taking my Ender 6 offline because I've actually found our original touchscreen mount, so I'll be putting it back to the touchscreen just to do a video to show you guys how to put it on, because some people requested we do a video install. I usually like doing video installs. The only reason we don't have one is because this was lost in the shop. A guy named Thomas sent me his, and then we found this, so now I have two, so I gotta send his back to him. But anyways, let's get back to the questions here. So but anyways, on RGB lights, I had it in my hand. I was playing with it. Still working on. This is actually the internal circuit board from them. These are only going to be 110 volt. It's the standard. What is it? The E12 base for the US. So you can see here we've got the RG and B LED array on here. I don't know why that's showing up as like. Must be the color balance on my camera. Because these are green, but it's nice. It's got an aluminum PCB for the actual lights, and there's RGB and warm white and cool white lights on here. So it's not using the RGB to do white. It's not lighting them all up. It actually has dedicated ones. And then we've got, we see here, we've got the little ESP chip hiding back there. And I've got like the TX and RX pads here for flashing the firmware. You guys will not have to flash any firmware on these. These will come pre-flashed with our version of Tasmota, but I am still working on them. We're still just short-staffed here. We are still hiring for a level 1 shop technician, so if you're in the area and looking for an entry-level job, we have positions open here. So anyways, so much to do, too little time. Let's see, what's the next question here? A lot of chat. You guys are chatty today. Not that many questions, though. I need questions to answer. This is the whole point of these streams. And like I said, for the giveaway, I'll post the giveaway link in the Livestream's Discord channel a couple minutes after we end the stream. I got to make the new form, and then I'll also update the URL, which is giveaway.ts3dstudio.com. So, yeah, anyways. Dwayne is asking, will Ender5 Pro stock print PETG without mods? Yes, but be careful. The only reason I say be careful is because if that's got the white PTFE tubing, that PTFE starts to break down at the 240 degree temperature range. And like I'm printing the PETG right now, we're at 235, so we're within 5C of that max temp. Now I've swapped the tubing out on mine to our tough tube, so I don't have to worry about that because that's good up to 275C. But the only reason I say is be careful with it because you could end up degrading the PTFE tube and then you start getting clogs and it's not fun. I always change out the tubing with our tough tube just so I don't have to worry about hitting that temperature limit, especially when we're printing ABS. ABS, we usually print at like 245C. So that's just something to look out for. Let's see here. Matt's saying 2.0.8 Marlin looks like a big update. Yes, it is. Will the Ender 6 be added to the easy config? No, not yet. Maybe not ever. Maybe something kind of posted on the side. So I did work with one of the guys in our beta testing channel. His name was Darshington. I don't know if that's you or someone else. But he had an Ender 6. He was having issues, I guess, with the stock board, and he had an easy board. He did get the easy board in there. I did make a test config with it, and he was able to get it running. There's a couple of caveats with that printer that make me apprehensive about officially supporting the easy board with it. So yes, the easy board can work in the Ender 6. It can work in any printer as long as you know what you're doing in terms of wiring and firmware setup. The problem is, for example, because Creality is using that breakout board, they're sharing ground lines to cut down on how many wires are going from the connector to the breakout board. So the thermistor lines are actually flipped, the signal and the ground, versus how we have the signal and the ground on our board. So what happens is when you plug the thermistor plug in to the normal way, just plugging it right into the easy board, the sensor doesn't read because it's just grounding out the signal pin. Now it doesn't damage the easy board, but it doesn't work. So he had to reverse that pin or just take the plug out, flip it and force it in backwards. I guess you could just repin the cable. That's what I would do. But it's not super plug and play. There's definitely more room for screwing up the board and or the printer with it. The other one, and I'm just scrolling back up here. His comments on here are just funny because he's just like, WTF Creality. I guess it doesn't matter if I swear. The Indian scam caller kind of got that ball rolling. So yeah, so he noticed that the hot end, I think there's a hot end wires, and the bed wires are polarity sensitive, and he actually had to make sure the polarity on these match. Whereas with with the other hot ends on Creality printers, they're just usually 2 red or 2 yellow wires, and it doesn't matter which one you put it into. It is polarity sensitive on the Ender 6, so that's my only concern there. And you can see here with them sharing pinouts. This is the fan connector, and you can see there's only one wire going to the fan plug because they're sharing the positive. So I'm just seeing if he posted any other pictures here. So he got it working, but the problem is it's weird because of how they did it with the breakout board. So this is his thermistor input. You can see it says TH1. You would have to swap these 2 pins around potentially. And I don't know if Creality, I'm assuming Creality wired them the same on every single one because then it wouldn't work with their breakout board. But there's just a couple of gotchas and caveats with it. The board mounts up just fine. The only downside would be is the SD slot is not accessible from the outside because it's underneath the printer now. The stock board has an extension. So yes, it is possible, and he's got it running on there, no problem. I'm kind of wanting to switch mine over. The stock board's been working pretty well, but there's just a lot of weird caveats with this system, so it's not as straightforward as the other machines have been, where you literally just swap it out and unplug it and plug it back in. So, let's see here. Let's move. Let's keep going on here. So yeah, the information is in the beta testing one. I posted a link to the one I threw together for him. And he also said the X and Y motors were swapped. But I just got to throw it in mine and see it. So let's see here. Shenim5 said, I picked up a few rolls of a coax mystery PET G. Do you have any suggested filament profile settings, temps, retractions, length, speeds? I have not used their PET G. I order PLA and ABS from them. I have PET G from Atomic, but in general with PET G, you're going to want a print temp of somewhere around like 230 to 240, maybe in 245C, and your retraction is going to be about the same as PLA, so that really depends on your printer. Like CR10, your retraction settings are usually like 4 to 5 millimeters at 50 millimeters a second. But the main thing to cut down on stringing with PETG is fast X and Y moves. So when it's traveling from one point to another on the printed part, you want to be running as fast as your machine can handle. So, on like the Ender 6 and some of my smaller printers, like even my Ender 3, I can do 120 millimeter a second travel. So what that does is it moves ahead really fast to the next point instead of moving slower, where it gives it a chance to kind of pull away and start stringing. So, let's see here. Frank is asking, is there a video to install EasyABL on the Ender 5 Pro? There's not a video, but there is a full installation guide. The EasyABL is a product that's meant to work on multiple machines. And for us to do an installation video on every single printer model is, we don't have the staff to do it. So, and the printers change a lot, so we'd be literally just making install videos all the time. The basic process with the EasyABL is you're going to mount it to your printer, give it power, and then connect your Z end stop cable to the EasyABL control board. You'll then go through a sensor calibration, make sure it's mounted at the correct height, calibrated at the correct height, and then update your printer's firmware and set your Z offset. So, and this is all broken step by step in the actual installation guide. All the firmware is on our website. This all can be found in our help center, which is at support.th3dstudio.com. Arflet's asking about the BTT E3 RRF board. Well, I don't buy BTT boards. I don't know if you guys saw, there's a whole fiasco with the new one they just released, the SKR2, that's frying drivers. I wish I could say I'm surprised, but I'm not. I've not had good luck personally with them. I've got one board from them that hasn't had issues, and it's in my testing bin. I just don't like them. I like MKS. MKS stuff I've had good luck with, but BTT, they crank out, like, it seems like they put out a new board every month or multiple, and they're just kind of, close but no cigar type of thing. Dominic Versetto, coax PLA has gone up by $4 a kilo. Yeah, I saw their email. Here's the reality of the world right now. Costs on everything are going up. So we've been seeing it like about a month and a half, maybe 2 months ago. We started seeing increases on all of our stuff that we're ordering from the suppliers. They're citing that it's just raw material costs going up. I think that's what Coax said. Their actual material costs are going up. Just how it is right now. Yay, inflation and supplies issues, and I don't even know. I have no idea what's causing it. All I know is prices are going up on stuff. So, let's see here. Any good laser cutters? I have a K40. It's a project, but once you get it working, it does work well. Yeah, that's basically the Chinese go-to printer, is a K40 or printer laser cutter, but they need a little bit of love and patience to work well. They'll cut stuff out of the box, but it's kind of the same story as it is with the Chinese printers. You get what you pay for, and don't expect any support from the Chinese seller that's going to sell it to you. I have one here. I've got the Cohesion 3D laser board in it, and it works well. I upgraded like the lens. I've got a couple little upgrades. I haven't gone crazy on it, but I have, and it works pretty well. So let's see here. I was looking into an engraving for this CR10S with the easy light board. I'll let you know, we will never officially support any laser stuff in the firmware because we want to focus on 3D printing. And my personal opinion is that if you want to do stuff with a laser cutter, then get a laser cutter. I actually have, it's sitting in the box down here. Adam Stack actually sent us over one of their little diode laser setups that are like $250. It's still sealed in the box. I'm going to do a video on it because I am interested in the little diode lasers just for doing engraving and, you know, cutting paper, that kind of stuff, lower power requirement type stuff. You know, we're not going to be cutting through plywood and stuff with it like you can do with like a 40 watt or an 80 watt. But if you're interested in getting into laser engraving stuff, Jim over at the Edge of Tech has been doing a ton of videos on lasers. I believe his favorite one right now is like one of the Ortor ones. You know, my whole thing with the stuff with the lasers and 3D printers, you have one machine that does one thing well instead of turning it into one machine that does three things mediocrely. You know, that's just my opinion. So let's see. Matt Madoob is saying, any advice for replacing V-slot wheels? In the process of upgrading my Sidewinder PC wheels, I want to make sure everything goes back together snug. It's as simple as take off the old ones, and when you put the new ones back on, make sure, typically with the V-slot wheels, you have two bearings, and there's like a washer in between the two bearings on the inside. Make sure that's there. So it should be bearing, washer, bearing, and that all gets sandwiched inside the wheel. Do not over tighten it. If you over tighten it, you can crush the bearings. So just get it snug and make sure you move the bearing with your finger after you tighten it down, because if you over tightened it, you'll feel it be kind of crunchy, and sometimes you can back it off and it'll be fine, but do not over tighten your bearings. You can actually just end up wrecking a bunch of stuff and destroying the bearings. So let's see here. Tommy O says, how to make the printer make a tone when the job is done and tone when out of filament. So with Marlin, with our firmware anyways, it's going to make a tone when it's out of filament. It'll like go beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, and it'll wait. It's not going to do it over and over again. You can do, what is it? I'm trying to remember what the G-code command is. There is a G-code command if you have a beeper on your printer. Most do. You won't have a beeper if you're using like a easy out board or like a pin 27 board, because that's pin is being used for something else. Let me look it up. I'm trying to think what the beeper command is. Play tone M300. So M300 is the play tone command. So you can set the duration and the frequency it's going to be at, and it's that simple. So I will post that link to it, and the Marlin M300 command works on our firmware if you have a beeper enabled in the firmware. Who was asking that? Tommy. Tommy, oh, there's your link. Read up on M300. It's magical. There's also some, if you look in Google, you can find where people have made actual sounds. Like there's like Mario Brothers and like the Star Wars, what is it, Death March, like the dun 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 dun. There's also definitely a Sandstorm one out there. I used to have it on my ending tones, but it got a little old when I was running a bunch of print jobs and my printers are just like singing. So I don't use that anymore. So anyways, let's go to the next one. 3D Jeff, why are so many people asking about the FolderTech i3? No, the unified firmware does not support the FolderTech i3. You should use Marlin. I feel like I've answered this like 6 times in the last week. Did somebody like clearance out a bunch of FolderTechs? You should just use Marlin. I don't plan on doing any work with the FolderTech stuff. I'm pretty sure FolderTech went out of business because last time I looked at them, their website was down. Did they get it back up? Oh, no, they're back up. Okay. Maybe they just had a temporary lapse. That's interesting, because they were like gone for a while. Their website just didn't resolve. But looks like they're back. Yeah, it looks like they're back. Oh, it says they're sold out, shut down during the COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, so they just said, screw it, we're not working. We've been here for you guys throughout this whole pandemic. We're dedicated here. Anyways, let's move on. Yeah, and I don't have any plans to support that machine. I don't have one. So, I mean, if someone wants to send me one, you can have it back when I'm done with it. I'll play with it if you want to drop one off here, preferably fully assembled. But yeah, I don't have plans of getting one of those. I have so many printers, and I remember seeing that one. I don't like the design. I don't like the suspended Z on the motors, especially with springy couplers. Like, it's a terrible idea. There's no Discord link. Oh, I should have Nightbot have a Discord link. That's a good idea, Mr. Mills. Let me see. YouTube, Nightbot. Let me try not to get off on too many tangents because we're already 42 minutes in here. Let's see. Where's the next question? You guys need to keep posting questions. The giveaway form is closed right now because I need to post a new one. We'll post a new one after the stream. I will do it. Give me like 10-15 minutes after stream's over, and then giveaway.th3dstudio.com should resolve to the new one. I'll post it in the live streams channel on our Discord too. So let's see. Can I use your firmware package on the Big Tree Tech E3 V2? If that's the SKR E3 Mini V2, we do have firmware for that board. It's not, like, tech support's not going to help you with it, but it does exist. It's on our site, and it'll help you get set up quicker than the Big Tree Tech stuff. So, let's see here. Dominic Versetto is asking, do bimetal heat breaks help prevent clogs with bottom tube printers like the Ender 5, or should I wait and get a direct drive printer? I have not messed with the bimetal heat breaks. I have one floating around here somewhere that someone sent me one of our suppliers sent me a sample of it. I think it was for a V6 hot end. But the design intrigues me. I have not messed with it, so I can't be like, oh yeah, it's going to be great, because I haven't personally tested it. So, Edward Bennett says, do you know of an all-metal hot end for the Mega Zero? I do not, but if you can find a mount to put it, like a V6 style hot end, I'm willing to bet someone's made one already. You could just swap it out with a V6 hot end. You don't need a machine-specific one. So, oh God, I'm being attacked. Hi. I think we were outside because our paws are wet, weren't we? Were we outside, Samantha? You were outside? Okay, well. All right, I got him. He's good. He's damp. You're very damp. So anyways, let's see. Is there a way to make files on the SD card show in the reverse order? Newest file at the top and not at the bottom. In our firmware, I believe it's sorted by alphabetical. There is an option in Marlin in the configuration ADV file. And I think it's rather recent rather first, or rather recent first. If you just look in the SD section, there is an option. You can uncomment that and then re-upload to the printer, and then it will change how they're sorted. Ow, can you not bite me? He's teething, if you can't tell. Anyways, let me... Oh my God. Fine, you can go down. Yeah, let me pull up the source code, because I can tell you what that option is. Yeah, Samantha just opened the door and boom, puppy, just right in my lap. Let's see, he's down here right now. I think it's rather recent first. Get out of my garbage, you little shit. It's define SD card _ rather recent first. And it says it reverses the sort order to show more recent files first according to the card's FAT table. So, But it does say here, since the FAT, and this is why we don't use it, since the FAT gets out of order with usage, so like the file modification information, they recommend you use the SD card underscore sort underscore alpha, but you can do that as well. So who was asking me about that? Dwayne. That's what you want to uncomment. So, and I believe you probably have to comment out the sort alpha. Let me see. Yeah, or that's uncommented, or that's commented out by default. So, but yeah. Anyways, that's how you could do it. But like it says in the notes, the Marlin notes itself, that it can get out of order just because of how the FAT file system works. So, Paul is asking for oh, wait, Paul, I'm sorry, did I miss your chat there, Paul? I'm trying to keep up with everything. I'm sorry. EasyBoard Pro when? When silicon shortage is over. I can't even get regular EasyBoards. The stuff is just all whatever. The Indian guy said the F word, so fuck it. When it's just all fucked up. Everything's all fucked up. So it sucks. But hey, at least we're not the only company that's getting screwed over by it. So yeah. Neo Visor, where can I find the package? On our help center in the download section. Everything is in our help center. Articles, downloads, that's the one-stop place for all of our stuff we have. So, ow, can you not bite me? He's under my desk biting my hand. I'm trying to just pet him and he's biting my hand. Any news on getting hats? I haven't had time. I had to shelve stuff. We did... He's trying to bite me still. You can't see him. Come here. Oh. Okay. Anyways, there's a lot of stuff that I've had to put on hold just because we are short-staffed right now and trying to keep everything that's currently being done moving along. But we did extend a job offer to a guy that's local. He has not replied to my email, so if for some reason you're watching the stream, you should reply to my email if you want the job, because I do have one other guy that I'm considering as well. So, ow! Stop! Let's see, are there any other questions in the chat? We are coming up. We got like 10 minutes. Usually you guys are chattier on the streams here. PETG or ABS for parts that we sit in the car? I would do ABS. PETG can still get, soft in the car. You're going to get tight. Do you want to go get clipped to your ow. That hurt. I missed a few questions. Let me scroll back up. Oh my god, I have to tie him to his leash is tied to my printer rack and his bed's over there, so we're gonna go get tied up since we want to bite Dad. Yeah. Yeah. I can't wait until those puppy teeth are gone. Oh, Kyle Fegley, can you use 2 webcams on one Raspberry Pi running Octoprint? I believe you can. I haven't tried it. I'd be more concerned about overloading the CPU. The Pi 4 would probably be able to do it, depending on what cameras you're using. There's like he got something on my, I think it was like dog boogers. I was like, is that poop? Nope, not poop, thank God. Yeah, anyways. I think you can do it. I have not personally done it. I don't see why you couldn't. Don't start. Are there any other questions? Oh, Exile 2828. Do you have any thoughts on metal or wood filaments? Especially metal and sometimes wood, depending on what brand it is and what they use. I would recommend going with a steel or like a coated nozzle. We carry steel and coated nozzles. Our coated nozzles are the easy flow ones because especially the metal stuff can be abrasive and you'll quickly bore out the nozzle diameter. So, but one thing I do want to let you know, in general, the fill type filaments where they have, carbon fiber or wood or metal fill, they usually are not stronger than regular PLA because it's just particles of that material inside the filament. It gives it, like the metal stuff will have a metal feel to it, maybe have a little more weight to it, but it's not usually stronger than regular PLA. If in fact, it usually ends up being weaker. So, but you can get stuff that gets a good appearance. So for stuff that's, you know, just cosmetic or like a trinket, they're nice, but just don't go buying a metal filament or wood filament thinking it's going to be stronger than your normal PLA. In fact, and from my experience, it's usually weaker because it's not all plastic. It's got that fill material inside of it. So, let's see. Did I miss any other questions here? I'm just scrolling back up here. Let's see. Oh, Paul the Texan. I'll try again. I'm sorry, Paul. I missed. Yeah, we're still in limbo. It sucks. I try not to get frustrated with it, but I have like boards sitting on my desk, and I'm like, Elliot, when are you going to support Prusa printers? We have an MK3, but I haven't spent any time with them, and our market's not really in the Prusa stuff. So I don't know how advantageous of that it would be for us to do. You know, the Prusa ones, they're not without fault, but they have a lot less issues than the Chinese printers. So I still prefer my upgrade Ender 3 over the MK3, to be completely honest. But you know, their machines are pretty good. Randall B joined the cult of TH3D. So hopefully, if you connect your Discord account to your YouTube account, you can get into our VIP section of Discord, which is where I typically hang out. That's about as close to social media as I do these days. Let's see. I'm just going back through here. Let's see. Any new questions that came in after I started looking for other questions? Yes, there are. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, I'm scrolling back up. Upper. Subconductor asks, what's a good general purpose grease / lube for Z-screw, fan bearings, moving parts, etc.? Everybody's got their preference, but this is mine. This is what I use. 3-in-1 multi-purpose PTFE lube. I've had this bottle for over a year, and it's still about half full. I use this on all my stuff. I've used this in a pinch too. If I have a fan that's grinding, put a couple drops of that in the back of the fan. I'll usually get another week out of it. Yeah, that's my preferred one, the 3-in-1 PTFE. Another one I do have on hand, and I'll usually use this on lead screws because it stays stuck on there. And it's not a liquid. What comes out as liquid but it dries is a dry PTFE lubricant. WD-40 makes a dry PTFE lubricant. It's not regular WD-40. We're talking about the brand WD-40. They make a dry PTFE lubricant. DuPont also makes their own dry PTFE lubricant, and they're in an aerosol spray can. Those I like for doing the Z-screws. I use that on the Z-screws as well, but it's a liquid and it doesn't dry, but it does work really well. So if you're looking for one to just have around, that's the one I'd have around, is that 3-in-1. So, best filament extruder. I have yet to see a good review from anybody on the filament extruders that you can, you know, use at home. They seem to be very finicky. I'm assuming you mean like making rolls of filament, because filament extruder, that's what that means. So, but yeah, I haven't seen any ones that like I was like, oh, I want to get that so I can make my own filament. So, but if you're talking about like a extruder for your printer, everybody's got their preferences. The BMGs I've heard good stuff about. I've got a couple BMGs here on the Daedalus has one. I got some BMG clones on the Anycubic Mega Zeros. Those have been working great. I'm still a big fan of the classic Titan design. That's why we still sell it. That's our tough extruder that is based on the Titan design. I've got that on a lot of machines in here because it's just reliable, it's cost effective, and it works. So, but anyways, there we go. We covered both things. Scott Malott is asking, do you need to move an Ender 3's power supply outside of enclosure? Do you need to? No. Would I? Yes. Our Ender 3s, we've got a dozen Ender 3s in enclosures in our print farm. And we moved the power supplies outside of the printer enclosure. You can go one step further and move the electronics out of there, but we've had our Ender 3s with the old 8-bit boards in the enclosures for almost it's probably over 2 years now. I'd have to look, but they've been in there since we moved out here to Indiana. We've been out here for over 2 years now. And knock on wood, we've only had one board fail out of those 12. So, but heat is always bad for electronics. The cooler, in general, the cooler you keep electronics, the longer they're going to run. So it's never a bad idea. Especially for the Meanwell power supplies, those can usually handle the heat of an enclosure. Meanwell stuff is made to handle higher temperatures. I'd have to look. Let's see. I'm curious to see. What does Meanwell recommend for the LRS series? Because that's what the Ender 3s use. What's their datasheet say for the max ambient temperature? Oh yeah, this will be fine. I still move them out, but they're saying high operating temperature, the LRS series, which is what they use on the Ender 3s. If you have the Pro or the V2, high operating temperature up to 70 C. Typically in an ABS enclosure, you're going to see 45 to 50 C, so that's well within the 70 C limit. So I was expecting only to be like 60, but 70 is pretty generous. So, M. Povenberger is asking, do I keep the Ender 5 Plus power supply board in the enclosure or outside? I have mine inside the enclosure, and apparently in the Meanwells are good up to 70 C, so it's fine. I've got our Easy board in there. It's been holding up fine. I haven't had any issues with it. I just didn't feel like moving it out there, but I've had it in there for months now, and I use it. It's printing ABS parts right now, and it's been running great. So I would not recommend putting your Ender 5 Plus in an enclosure if you have like Creality's silent board in there, because that board already has heat issues, and I guarantee putting it in an enclosure will kind of do it in. Kaz FPV, do we have a brick and mortar store? We do not. We are located here in Hobart, Indiana. We're not a retail outlet. We strictly ship out online. So, but shoot us a message if you're in the area, and just have our support guys just put a message in the ticket and have them assign it to me, and I'll reach out to you. So, but we don't have a storefront. We don't shop. We just have a shop here on our property, and we run everything out of there, all our paperwork out of there. So we do not have plans to open up a brick and mortar. I don't want to work in physical retail. That I've been there, done that. Yeah. Film Factory says, I need to replace my pneumatic connector Ender 3 hot end. When I search, I get both PC4-01 and PC4-M10. On the Ender 3 hot end, that's the PC4-M10, and we carry those on our website. And I will link that, because we've got ones, there are tough fittings. They're a 3-pack, and they're like $8 for 3 of them. So, but the ones we have, they have metal teeth. They grip the filament, or not the filament, but the tubing really well. There you go. There's a link to that. I'm going to check the last couple of questions as we're getting here. We want to keep these streams around an hour. Like I said, if you guys want to enter the giveaway, join our Discord server at discord.th3dstudio.com. I'm going to go ahead and make a Discord command. DISCORD. Message. Join our... Give me 1 second here. I can't type and talk at the same time. And submit. Well, let's do it. Will that work? Sounded like somebody was knocking. Nope, the puppy's just scratching. Anyways, sorry about that. I'm just checking to see if there's any other questions from any of our channel members here before we go. Dale Scott, the giveaway form will be available about 10 minutes after the stream because I got to make the form and update the URL, but it will be giveaway.th3dstudio.com. I will also post a link to the form in the live streams channel on our Discord server. So, I think that'll be it. Let me see if there's just any other questions here. Got all the channel member questions. I want to make sure I get you guys taken care of because I appreciate the support. I'll answer Judd. Judd Whiting's got the last question. I recognize you, Judd. I know you've been around. I haven't seen you in a bit, though. He's asking, what's the difference in use between a more pointed nozzle and more of a flat tip like TH3D, and why would you use either? I prefer the ones with more of a flat tip than the super pointed because it tends to smooth the filament out a little more, whereas the pointed ones, I feel like they can kind of let it mushroom up a little bit more. They both work. It's more of a personal preference. I have not changed our nozzle suppliers in a couple years because they make really good nozzles and they print well. But you can see a bunch of different styles. They'll call them MK8, and what that really is the length of the thread from the actual shaft of the nozzle, and then the length of the nozzle tip, but you'll have slightly different designs on there. They all work. I would say, get a couple different ones, especially since nozzles are usually pretty cheap, and see what one prints better for you. So, but anyways, that's going to be the end of the stream. We're at the 1 hour mark. I appreciate everybody who stopped by. If you guys are a channel member, make sure, and you're at the Cult of TH3D level, make sure to connect your Discord account to your YouTube account if you're on Discord, and you'll get access to the VIP sections where I hang out. So if you want to chat offline, that's where you can find me. So I appreciate everybody that is a channel member already. You guys are awesome. And we do these streams every Monday at 4 p.m. Central Time and every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Central Time. So we used to do this on Mondays at 2 p.m., but we pushed it back just because Mondays are crazy here. Also, like I said, as of right now, streaming this on 5/3/21. If you guys are in the Hobart, Indiana area and you're looking for an entry-level job, we have a shop technician position open. So make sure to reach out to us. You can go to th3dstudio.com/jobs and see what positions we have open. So appreciate everybody stop by. I hope you guys learned something. And as always, happy printing. I'll see you guys on Discord.